What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. As always, a huge thanks for coming back. We really appreciate you guys. And remember, if you like what you see, leave a like and subscribe. Now, I know that last week's video, I promised you that we were going back to some OBS action. But before I do that, I gotta take care of the garage. And one of the main projects that I want to do today is I actually want to upgrade this compressor a little bit. Hopefully, it'll be an upgrade. So the main thing that I want to do is go from that two-stage pump to that single stage pump, and supposedly on paper when I bought it, that's supposed to be a better pump for me. Basically, the two-stage pump is really good at giving me a lot of PSI, but it doesn't give me a lot of CFM. As you can see here, it gives me 7.6 CFM at 90 PSI, but it does give me 175 max PSI. So it's a good compressor. Well, I definitely wish I would have gone a different route. But that pump will give me, if I remember correctly from when I bought it, somewhere around 10 to 12 CFM, but it'll drop my PSI to like 155, which is fine because that thing needs the CFM, not as much the PSI. So, and hopefully we'll also fix a lot of these leaks that this thing has. I don't know, I'm a little skeptical just because of the size difference between the single stage and the dual stage. But from looking at other compressors that are single stage, that's about the size pump that they have. So again, like I said, we'll see. Hopefully it works out. By the way, when we're talking about single stage and dual stage, it doesn't mean that it's one piston or one compressor on the pump. It actually means that it takes air from this one, compresses it, sends it through that pipe to this other head, compresses it further, and then throws it into your tank, which is how you get the higher PSI, if I'm right. I think I am. Like this thing, I'm pretty sure it's also a dual piston, but they both basically work as one big piston, if I'm right. I'm not an expert at any of this, but hopefully we'll get all of this to work. So in addition to going to that single stage pump, we are also going to be installing this after cooler. This is actually a transmission cooler. I forget from what company, but I'll leave links to all of this stuff down below, at least most of it. But we're going to be installing that. We're going to be going to a new regulator, hopefully a little bit better than the Harbor Freight that I have, and then a water trap. And basically what this is going to do is hopefully take out most of the water from the air before it hits the tank. So I guess another thing is that when you compress air, one of the things that you get is water in it, and it is super bad for a plasma table. And it basically makes you go through your consumables way too fast. Like this right here. Hopefully it'll focus, but that is completely burnt up, and that is most likely because water got into the system. And I have a little bit of a filter system to try and get water out of the system, but it's definitely not enough. So I have this right here, which is 2 filters, and then 2 what are they called? They're basically these little beads. And then from that, it goes to that motor guard filter, and it does okay, but it could definitely be a lot better, which I'm hoping this is what gets us there. Again, like I said, this will condense the air. It'll come out of here. Hopefully the water will get trapped in this thing, and we'll stop most of the water before it even hits the tank. And you need quite a few things to make this work. The oil transmission cooler, the lines on it are AN. So I went to my local fitting shop and I got this. It's basically a -6 AN female to a -6 AN female swivel coupler. So that's this one right here. And then from that, we went to this, which is a -6 straight adapter to a 3-inch amputee male. So we got one for each side. And then we got this, which is amputee on this side, and then this is a 1/2-inch compression fitting that we're gonna install on our copper tubing, which, by the way, I've never done any of this. I've been a pipe fitter, but I've never been a plumber, and I feel like this is more plumbing sort of stuff. So we'll see how it goes. We also got some tools. I got a pipe bender, just because I've always wanted to mess with one of these things. One of the cool things that I remember seeing at job sites, from a lot of like the instrumentation guys and stuff like that, is, you know, bending like cool pipes and stuff like that. So I always wanted to give that a try. So I got this to try and make this look as good as we can. And then I don't think we'll need this, but I got a flaring tool, and it's good to have. Even if I don't use it in this project at all, I still wanted to have one of these things just whenever we do anything with brake lines. So hopefully it'll be a fun project. So let's get started on it. Like I said, the first thing I'm going to do is take that compressor apart. So hopefully it's not that bad. We'll do a quick little time lapse, and yeah. Okay guys, so the battery died at some point while I was recording, and I didn't even notice. But let me update you. Not a lot has happened, but we have our new pump mounted, and we have the little after cooler installed, as well as everything put back together. And I was kind of learning how to bend pipe, and yeah, I definitely didn't do the greatest job. And one thing that I did learn is that you can't unbend it. So I went and bought a whole bunch more new pipe, and we're gonna go ahead and give this little bend a try again. So basically what I'm trying to do is get from the outlet of the compressor to the top side of the little cooler. So it's just 290-degree bends, but I never used that tool, so I'm trying to get I guess used to it. So I'm gonna go ahead, make this bend, come give it a try and see how it turns out. Okay guys, so I've got this project pretty much all finished up, all buttoned up, and I guess let me show you. There's some things that for the most part, not really happy with a lot of it, but I'll kind of talk through it as I show you guys. But as I said before, we had the pump on, and then I went ahead and actually finished these pipes. I actually really like the way that one came out. I think I nailed it. And then I got all of these other ones. I need a support for this, and I think if I was to do this again, I would try to install a little cooler a little bit further that way. The reason why I installed it where I installed it is because I wanted it to be kind of right in front of the fan, so that we can have as much or as little air as we could going through there. You know, if I put it further that way, it was for sure not going to get any air. So, but by doing that, it made all of these bends stick out really far. And like I said, I gotta figure out some sort of support for this, which I think I can just make a bracket to go from these bolts to hold it like that in place, which is really no big deal. And then I got this pipe all done. It looks really good, except for this little section where when I was trying to straighten it out, I was kind of beating it to get it straight, and that was hitting on the edge of my table, so kind of messed it up a little bit. So I guess overall, for being my first time doing anything like this, I'm actually pretty happy with the way that everything turned out. It looks better than I thought it was going to look. So I know it's not great, but for me, for being my first time, I'm happy with it. The thing that I'm definitely not happy with is that none of these little compression fittings hold air, and maybe that's not what they're supposed to. They're probably not supposed to hold air at that pressure. So what I think I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try and find compression fittings that look more like this one. This is the one that came with my pump and my compressor, and this is actually a lot beefier than the ones that I installed. So this is basically the stuff that I installed. This is just the stuff that I found at my local Ace, and if you compare it to this, it's definitely not as beefy as this stuff. and it's all the same size pipe. And then the actual compression sleeve, or whatever you want to call this thing, I forgot what it's called, on this one is very, very simple. And this one, it looks like it has a little raised ring around the edge of it or something. I don't know, it looks different. It looks like it seals a lot better. So I'm gonna try and find this style of fittings. If anyone knows where I can get them or what they're called, if they're anything different than just your basic one, definitely let me know, because this obviously never gave me a problem. So yeah, I'm gonna try and find stuff that looks more like what came with the compressor. Now the actual pump, I don't think it's any better at all than the one that I took off, honestly. And I know that at the beginning of the video I said that a one-stage pump was better for what I was doing because it's gonna give me more CFM and stuff like that. And I guess it is supposed to give me more CFM, but I was doing more research into it, and I guess they are a lot more inefficient than a two-stage pump. And I think it keeps up with this table about the same, maybe a little bit less than that pump that I took off. But the thing that I really like about it though is that it's a lot quieter. Before, when the compressor would kick on, the pump is the only thing that you could hear, because that thing was loud. Now whenever the compressor kicks on, you can't really hear it over the plasma table. The plasma table is a lot louder than the actual compressor, which I'm pretty happy with that, because I hated how loud the compressor was before. So I'm happy that it's a lot quieter, but I think I'm definitely gonna try and find a better pump for this thing. Something more like in the 4 to 5 horsepower range for this thing, I think would be more appropriate. I think the thing was, it said that it was a 3.7 horsepower, which is exactly what my motor is. But I think if I get a slightly better, bigger pump, I think it'll still be fine. But I'm still looking for something, you know, that will work better for my needs. But yeah, I actually tested out this thing yesterday. I ran all of these parts, and it cut good. It seems like it is doing a good job of stopping the water, but let's test it and see if there's any water in the tank. So it definitely still has water, but it's a lot less water than it used to before. With how much it ran yesterday, it would have had a lot more water in the tank. So I guess that's a plus. It's still not perfect, but it's a plus. And I guess I can't really judge the pump yet until all the leaks are fixed, because obviously that's gonna affect the performance of it a lot. So like I said, I'm gonna find those fittings to try and fix it, and then once we fix it, if it's still not performing like I think it should, then I think I am gonna try and find a better pump. But yeah guys, I know that I said last week that this is gonna be a truck video. I promise that next week it will be a truck video for sure. I still don't know what I'm gonna do to either one of these trucks, but we'll find something to do. Anyways, I hope you found the video at least helpful. If you liked it, leave a like before, leave any comments down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and we'll see you for the next one.